and welcome to another Wolftime gaming video. Today we get sticking with Star Wars Armada and we're going to be painting the Jumpmaster 5000. Very different looking ship this time to what we used to. I think it looks pretty cool. I really want to see what it can do on the tabletop, but I don't want to get it on there without having a really cool paint job, and that's what we're going to do now. Before we get started on that though, as usual, let's get that kettle on. If you've seen any of my videos before, you'll know the first thing we want to do is give them a decent base coat to make the paint essentially stick to the model better. So I'll do that in a way. I'll create this hedgehog type box, lots of sticks just in the box there, a little bit of blue tack on the end, and just stick the ships to it. Then give them all a spray. You can get all around them that way, and they look like this, or they do if you use Games Workshop's Grey Seer, which is what I've used in this instance. Now I use Grey Seer for all of these little ships at the minute because it's a really nice starting point to actually get some really cool looking details and things on there, and it's a very, very good base spray. Now the reference image you can see in the top left there is what the ship is hopefully going to look like, or something similar to, at the end of this video. So we'll start off with a little bit of contrast black Templar, as we've done in the past, just to pick out a few of the darker details, mainly the cockpit in this instance, although there are a couple of vents, or there's only really one vent on this vessel. You can see on the reference image on the top left of the screen there's a couple of those darker vents. In this instance you've only got the one, but then you've got the engines as well, and I've actually gone with the black for the edge of the engines, just so I could get that glow looking really, really good from the engines once we get onto that a little bit later on in the video. Once that's dried, it's then time to pick out a few more of the details, and I'm going with a grey sort of a colour, and that's because I've got it out. Essentially it was an easy one to go with, and that was a Games Workshop's contrast paint called Basilicum Grey. Now I'm picking out a few of the finer details just on the vessel, some of the raised areas. Not everything is necessarily exactly as the reference image we can see, but I did want to add a little bit of interest, so I did a few extra little areas with that grey as well. Now I'm picking out orange detail because I wanted to stick fairly close to what we've got on the reference there. I'm using a base paint from Citadel, another Games Workshop one called Jock Aero Orange to do this. So it's a Jacaro orange, and all I'm doing is using a really, really fine tip brush just to pick out the orange details just around the cockpit and the center portion of the engines. As you can see on the reference image there, we want to get it as close as possible, and I think that orange works really, really well. Now one of the final stages that we can do is coat the whole thing with a oil, and in this instance I'm using Nuln Oil, another Games Workshop one. And what this does is drop into all those recesses, goes against any of the raised areas, so you get sort of lines and you get that natural sort of shading. As you can see, I'm picking them out there, just painting it all over the actual vessel, covering the whole thing, even that orange area that we've done. Even though it darkens it down a little bit, I think it works really, really well. I think it looks great once that's on there. The final detail now, the final colours we want to do is on the engine itself, and I'm starting with Sotek Green. I'm going with a bluey sort of a feel for this engine. If you've seen my other videos, you know what the next one's going to be. And then we move on to like a Temple Guard Blue, which is an even lighter blue, just in the center of the Sotek Green, and what this does is give you that look of glowing on the vessel, and I think it looks really, really cool. You can see the Temple Guard Blue just going onto the engine there. Now in this instance there's two sort of raised areas, so I've actually gone with those two, and then a little bit underneath there, and what it does, you can see straight away it looks like those areas are glowing a lot hotter than the rest, and you get this in the end, which I think looks absolutely brilliant. I really like the way the orange stands out. It's a very different looking ship. The null-nulls dropped into all those recesses really, really nicely with this one. There's loads of detail that can be picked out. The engines look great. I think it's a big win all round, and I can't wait to get it on the tabletop. Thanks for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of our future videos. Go and check out the channel now for more great content. There's loads of painting videos including Games Workshop, Star Wars, and loads of fantasy settings such as Frostgrave and one of my favourites, Boros and Badgers. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next one.